Our next speaker is Robert McVicker. His presentation is called Going Against the Tide. Now, Robert would like to let you know he has zero qualifications in designing, building or sustainability. As a novice, he naively set out to build his own family home, electing not to use a qualified architect or building company. Robert spent over a year refining and designing, and over 4 years owner-building the home from the ground up. Throughout the build, Robert carefully planned, site-managed and joined tradesmen on the tools, ensuring that the construction stayed true to its concept and its standard. The building had courageous aims to meet the occupants' needs with energy and water, with minimal burden to the occupants, the environment and the community. The result? Today, the home exceeds the toughest sustainability building performance benchmarks in the world, including net zero energy and net zero water simultaneously. The home, with continuous improvements, has won the Logan Eco Action Festival Sustainable Household 3 years in a row, and that was in 2013, 14 and 15. It also competed in the 2015 Queensland Premier Sustainability Awards against Queensland's largest developers, best buildings, commercial, government and $1 million high-rise buildings endorsed by Green Industry, and it came out on top, winning the Built Environment Award. So last month, the home received a commendation award in the Logan Urban Design Awards. The home is also being used as a case study, as a leading example in the Queensland Government Climate Change discussion paper. This disruptive, innovative building is the Vicar Ridge, and it's located right here in the city of Logan. How this Logan first-time owner-builder got from zero to redefining best practice and surpassing the best in industry, he will share with you today. And so could you please welcome Robert McVicker. Thank you.
Okay, good morning everyone. I'm hopefully not going to bore you too much. I'm really big on pictures, so we're going to make sure hopefully that I get to show you a lot of pictures of our project, and I'll talk to those. I think you'll probably find that a bit more entertaining. I'd like to first really open with acknowledgement that the Vicarage project is not a social enterprise as such. Fundamentally, the Vicarage is not a business or an organisation. However, we may somewhat be close to the definition of a social enterprise as we seek to maximise improvements in human and environmental well-being. I would rather better fit into a category of an open source initiative. So I'm not sure if that's showing up on screen now. That's good. Okay, that's a picture of our house and a picture of our Facebook page that if anyone's interested, you can find us there. So here we basically share everything. Services, products used, design and construction tips. We put all this information freely on the internet for others to use, modify, critique, or just use as they see fit. Our experiments, wins, and many failures, and most importantly, our building's actual performance results each month. 10 years ago, starting this project, we were absolute novices. All we had was light renovation experience and had never built a new home before. We have been mistaken for builders in media articles on our project, as they often refer to me as an owner-builder. Yet, for those that don't know, an owner-builder is an everyday person who has simply sat a one-day course to get a very brief understanding on the responsibilities and legal obligations in constructing a building. It does not teach you in one day how to build a home. Sometimes naivety can be a strength. Certainly in our situation, if I had any idea what I was getting into, then I probably wouldn't have attempted a project of this scale and ambition. My wife says the industry need not be concerned for me taking over, as it took me over a year to finalise the design of our house, hence I'd never make it as an architect, and it took me 4 years to build a home, and as such I'd probably never make a builder. In my defence, I'd like to take you on a quick journey, what was 5 years, and I'll try and pull it off in 5 minutes, of what this actual design and construction involved. If you can see that on the screen straight up, that's the home we bought about 2002. It was not built to code. It had no council approval. The slab was broken. The frame was infested with termites. It was basically unrecoverable. And in the building industry and urban design planning, they love these type of starting projects where you're working with a brownfield site. So we're not building on taking greenfield sites and knocking down trees and clearing and progressively increasing urban sprawl. It's taking an older building and renewing it. So this is our site, and where we got the name from, the Vicar Ridge. There's a very large black sandstone ridge that runs through the property east to west. There's a bit of close-up on those rocks. It had some very creepy trenches that ran through it, and we used those integrated into the design of the home for the footings. So that really deep trench with that grass you can see in there was our main footing line for where the main weight of the front wall of the house went. This is my fantastic drawing of the first ever concept we had for our family home. It's certainly nothing too flash. But fundamentally, I'll quickly zip through what happened with this design, and the actual bare bones and room locations never really changed. So this was it. This one's quite good. I got a date on it, August 2006. This was the rough idea what we wanted to do. I really wanted to have the home, unlike traditional home, I wanted it to integrate to our site. So we engaged an aerial photo of the home showing the rock ridge to ensure the designer could work in with the different rock levels we had and the positions of the rocks to site the house even against that natural trench line, which you can see is exposed on that shot. Unfortunately, back in 2006, there was no such thing as drones. It was an aerial blimp we had to engage. But if it was these days, I could probably call my 10-year-old son to fly a better shot than that. But that's advancement the way it goes. Okay, so we'll quickly run through first hit. And you see that we're working with the rocks. We take our first hit of drawing. Again, some more changes. This is going over months. More changes again. The big right-hand side of that building, we wanted to shift down. If you can sort of see, there's a hallway change there and a lot more changes happening. More changes. And then we called it stumps at that. I'd like to say the changes stopped when we started building, but I still couldn't help myself from breaking some rules with changing throughout the construction as well. I fundamentally believe when you start walking through a building under construction, you see a lot of opportunities, and it's really whether you're going to take those opportunities to make the changes. Again, back 10 years ago, there was some pretty fancy software on energy assessment of homes. However, our designer back then liked to do a balsa wood model, which I was really keen to engage on site for sun model testing. So you can see there I've written the time of day, the date, and seeing how the sun is hitting the building. So these sort of basic concepts of what's called passive house design do little to add cost to the building, to the construction, but do significant benefits for the running costs of the home. This is a bit of a job list that was constantly being renewed between myself and my wife, slightly favoured to me on my job list. And basically we just hit the ground running. That's my son. And let's fly through construction with the slab. This is a local concreter, McGinn Concretes in Kingston. A slab finished, and we, in our main areas, we went for a polished concrete finish, so that reduced further material use and created a very effective thermal floor for passively heating the home in winter and keeping it cool in summer. Again, construction of this block wall that spilled out from the home. It's our steel framework. Back to the block wall construction. That's myself on the tools. I was always, for cost measures, had to be involved. We didn't have a builder, and nor do we have an architect involved in the project other than a designer that was just off our plans and stopped there. So it was up to me to ensure that what we had in our plan and what we envisioned was going to come to fruition. With some pretty extreme ceiling heights and a very commercial type roof structure, we had to engage cranes. Some of our roof sheets there being put on, they're over 18 metres long, so it was that required a semi-trailer just to drop those off. Normally a roof sheet can be handed on by 2 people, but at 18 metres long, that just wasn't going to happen. It's the roof finished. Wall framing from inside. Our rainwater tank storage, again, another local supplier used Select Water Tanks in Logan Village. Everyone was involved in our project. That's my father-in-law helping me out with a plan change. So we're modifying the steel frame there. That's myself. One of our first major hurdles, we had our glass contractor go bankrupt on us during our build, and all the glass work he supplied for the home, 80% of it didn't fit the building. So we had some major dramas there. That probably added quite a few months of stress and drama for us. But essentially, again, we found someone else and we got involved. It's our cladding to the home, nothing expensive, just your basic fibro board. But essentially, when it's painted at the end, it just looks the same as any other building finish. This is our swimming pool. For some strange reason, I didn't learn my lesson with owner building and end up owner building our pool. We struggled with getting a design that really wowed us and that tied in with the home and that block wall that existed. Again, the pool shell builder we used, again, was a local company, wholesale pool shells from Chambers Flat. That's my son standing in the constructed pool shell. And you can see it being tied in with the house shape. That's 2 of my workforce minions. That's my son and my daughter. Again, not just using brand new materials, we engaged a lot of second-hand and leftover surplus materials. You see to the right of that screen, there is a outdoor shower wall, and that's just been used from leftover bricks that I bought on eBay. As it was being rendered, it didn't matter that there were different colours or chipped or damaged. That's myself and my wife. One of the biggest hands-on things I was involved with was there was just a huge amount of labour in tile cutting. So essentially I bought found this bench and wet saw on Gumtree and spent many hours and days cutting tiles. I had no previous experience in cutting tiles, but at the end of it, I really enjoyed it. And so here we go, on site with me and my son. And it's some of my tile handiwork. I can't take credit for the glass mosaic tile work, but again, as I got proficient in tiling, I was very careful over who I picked and engaged with our contractors for tiling. And the people that we used here were just brilliant. This house moving on, we're now at a rendered stage. This is probably about year 2.5, year 3. This is some of our stone wall work. I soon found that that was not my expertise, because it's actually the neater you are, the worse it looks. So I was back to my brickie for that job, but I did all the cuts for him. This is our indirect cooling system. It's like an evaporative cooler. However, it uses about half the electricity of a hairdryer, and this does our main living room. And it's pretty much key on why our energy use over summer can be kept down so much. This is the install on that room, and we do some pretty unique, just different things. We didn't look to what others had done in the industry. We just did what we wanted to do our way. And here you can see on that back of that bulkhead truss, I've actually gyprock lined so I can insulate, so it will hold insulation sheets and a proper barrier to the truss area. Crazily enough, even after owner building the house with the pool, I took on designing the kitchen. So I did I thought this wouldn't take long. Took over a week of drawings and different products to use. So all those drawings looking out of mine. That's our laundry, our vanities, just all the cupboards, everything we drew ourselves. That was the ensuite. Our indoor-outdoor kitchen, again, all from our own drawings. This is now getting into the final year and the house is really starting to pull together. You get a clear view here of the home sitting on the rock, on that sandstone ridge. And this is the day we moved in. And my children this is the most important things to them that are brought into the home when they moved in. Pretty much 10 years to the day today. No, it's not. What am I saying? That would have been about 2000 and late 12, so 4 years ago. Project started 10 and finished 4 years ago for move-in. A typical owner-builder, you can see the driveway's not finished, the garden's not finished, but the house was inside. Nor was the pool, so after we moved in, we then went to finish the pool. Again, used another local contractor, Pebble Pro from Logan Village, who did a fantastic job. It's the pool done. And this is the final product. It's our living room, outdoor entertaining, and the swimming pool. Our proudest moment was actually just last year when we won the Queensland Sustainability Premiers Awards for Built Environment. Followed by that, we got our home got used in the climate change discussion paper. And that's a snapshot from that there. Now, if anything, I think I've blown quite over time, so I just want to leave it on this screen. This is probably the most important things for us, and you'll see every month on our Facebook page, it's our current performance. Like any good business, it always comes down to your balance sheet. And good sustainability, or meaningful sustainability, basically ensures that you give more than you take. So on the very first column, we've got our rainwater harvested. So I'm trying to read from the distance. That's about 150,000 litres so far this year, and we're pretty much on par for this time of year. We've also got our red water, which is basically, those who don't know, when you pull a tap and you ask for hot water, and that first lot of cold water that comes through, that's our red water supply. So that's actually diverted for gardening use around the home. So we quantify that. We also treat all our wastewater on site, and it's treated to a very high standard, close to Class A quality, which is basically very clear water. And then we finish with our solar generation. So the green side is how much solar kilowatts surplus we've exported from site, and the last final orange column is how much energy we've imported from site. So basically, I think I'm going to cut a lot short on what I was going to go through, but I don't want to I have a real habit of running over time. please make yourself known when I come down, when I'm finished here after my presentation. If anyone's got any questions or anything I can help them with their own building, be residential or commercial, just make yourself known. And thank you again for your time. The Vicarage.
Okay. So I really encourage you, if you're on Facebook, to go and have a look at the Facebook page, The Vicar Ridge. Take down that and look it up, and you'll get a lot of the information that perhaps you couldn't quite capture from the screens from where you're sitting or standing. There's a lot of great information, and again, very proud to have this award-winning home right here in the city of Logan.